thresholds. Who would like to kick off?
Hi.
Lily.
Hi.
Hi.
So just here to present this policy to look at the governance structure of the policy development group.
Right. Lily, can I
Sorry.
ask you to speak up because you
Yes.
have quite a number of members of the public, and although they're just behind you, they are
Facing the wrong
behind you.
Okay.
Okay?
So
if it would be helpful, it might be
Turn around.
okay for you to stand over there so that the members of the public can hear as well as we can.
so as you know, we have a policy development group across North West London where we've had 3 meetings so far, representation from the 8 CCGs to look at different policies across North West London, and we've had representation from your CCG, Dr. Claire Grayley, Claire Jarman has been attending. So the paper is really about the governance structure of the policy development group and the way in which we can get these policies ratified. So as it stands, we've currently been having to go to each quality meeting of each CCG and then to then each governing body for formal ratification. That is quite a timely process and also replicates some of the work that has to be done across the 8, and if we continue with that approach, then there is a risk of getting decisions made about policies. So this paper's gone to the collaborative board meeting, and it also went to your quality meeting for review, and there are 3 proposals. The first option is to remain as we are, to go around the 8 quality meetings and the 8 governing bodies for each ratification. The second option is to have a recommendation from the policy development group and then go to each governing body for ratification. And then the third is to really emphasise the structure of the policy development group, ensure that we get good representation from each CCG in terms of a GP and also a lay member. And the PDG asks the collaborative board to ratify decision through its CCG chair. So to delegate the decision to the CCG chair.
I think you want
Trish,
me
would
now.
you like to?
Yes.
to
So this came to the quality, to our local quality committee, and we took some time to go through the proposals. We were clear that with the addition of, if we wanted another member and a lay member, so that we felt that then there would be good representation on the group of our local concerns, which was really important to us, and that people would have a voice, and that's been agreed. So we were concerned about that, and we were also concerned that we knew exactly what was being discussed, so that if there was something that was of concern locally, we could actually make sure we had an opportunity to consider that locally. And that's also been agreed, and subject to those 2 provisos, we felt that this was a sensible way forward in terms of providing absolute clarity, consistency and fast decision making for people who were actually in quite difficult positions when these decisions were being made. Is that, I think that represents the group's, the committee's views.
just for absolute clarity, of the options considered,
Option 3.
we are looking at option 3 with the provisos that you've just outlined.
Yeah.
Jane.
Just for information, I was a lay member nominated to serve on this group.
Thank you. Any questions about this or any comments? Tony?
I suppose my main concern about option 3 would be sort of if you've got a smaller group, how do you ensure that there's sufficient expertise there? Because there's quite a lot of complex things being discussed, complex medical areas, funding requests and so on. How do you make sure that the people are there to make decisions?
So I suppose we do all that back backstage work up really. We've held, for example, the gastro one and the rheumatology one. We've held clinical workshops and invited all the local consultants and held workshops to thrash out the issues and basically pull together all the evidence and for the PDG group to really finally discuss what they want to do with it. So all the nitty gritty and the real sort of scientific stuff has been, gone through with liaison with clinical consultants. So
Just to add as well,
Yeah.
that we also have a consultant that comes when we're presenting the paper.
Yeah.
There's a consultant that comes to the policy development groups for any technical questions they ask.
So what time? So Jane?
I'm just wondering, Billy, whether you had considered having a lay representation on those groups. I know it's quite technical, but I think the lay body sometimes has something to contribute,
well,
even at a technical meeting. Do
we
you
have had
them?
workshops and we have had lay representation come to those workshops as well.
Thank you.
Any other points? Yes.
Sorry, in PCT days, public health were obviously quite heavily involved with the IFR process.
Yeah.
Now clearly that's not the case at the moment, but perhaps there may be room for the MOUs between the public health and the CCGs for providing public health support where needed.
We do have some public health support we've had to procure out of it outside of the local authorities, but yes, we would welcome
Well, if you
input.
want
Yeah.
to make contact.
Yeah.
Daniel, did you want to? No. So I'm hearing there is public
Yeah.
health.
We do have public health
Yeah.
support, but it's
Support.
outside of the local authority.
Right. Perhaps we could discuss that further so that we can make sure that it's coherent. Anything else? Susan?
So just for clarity, so the group covers across the 8 CCGs. So theoretically, you'd have 2 representatives from each CCG, so 16 CCG
Yes.
representatives, and then the other
Yes.
members from your side of things. And then the group will come to some kind of consensus of
Yes.
opinion. Now, I'm sure, given my experience of the recommendations that we've made previously, that generally speaking, there is consensus because they're so well founded in evidence and the research base that there is. But say, for example, in a situation where 1 or 2 CCGs felt that they couldn't agree with whatever the recommendation of the group was at that point in time, how would that be dealt with in terms of then taking it forward to the chair, to the collaborative board, or to the chairs for ratification?
I suppose 2 aspects of that is if there is harbourings of anxiety, there's probably something that we haven't looked at, or something that we need to delve in further or look for more evidence to provide that CCG.
Yeah.
But the another route to take that, if we've also put in the options of option 3 that the chair can either agree, disagree, or take back for a local decision, where there are local issues that might play a part, so they could actually take that back to their own governing body if they weren't comfortable with making a broader decision across the 8.
Any other points on this?
And, sorry.
Tony?
And presumably, the governing body, this would be something that would be noted in the CCG members, in the board meeting.
Yes.
So it would be
Yes.
updates on.
Yeah. So with those things taken into account, are we prepared to ratify this proposal? Good. Okay. So we've got time for some more questions.